Good afternoon, CyrusHojjaty, CyrusHojjaty. I'd like to talk about AB 96 and the urban heat island effect. It's okay, which is a bill that I support. Yes, trees, water, buildings, all that stuff definitely matters. But one thing needs to be talked about more is parking. We have a lot of empty parking spots. Go outside, it's pretty shocking, kind of depressing. And this is largely because we have codes, especially at a land use level, that demand parking minimums, saying that, for an example, if you have a business, you need to provide 7-8 parking spaces. There has been some recent uptrends. The city of Henderson has wound down their parking requirements around the Water Street district, which also helped reduce my costs and other benefits as well. But I think we still have a lot more to go. Last month, this area hit a record high temperature of 97 degrees. Very frightening, like Twilight Zone. I believe urban heat island effect has an effect of that at least 2-3 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's take a look at other states that have mitigated. Look at North Carolina. In 2025, in the legislative session, they introduced a parking reform bill, HB 369. Hopefully I'll be able to email you this bill. It got unanimous support. So hopefully we can look at the bill, apply it, get it forward, and save our lives. I believe it's up to builders and consumers as how many parking spaces that they should be able to provide. And I believe this is the main source of our urban heat island effect. This metro area perhaps is one of the most paved area per person than any metropolitan area in the United States because we are on average the newest person. To be fair, street design does play a role, arterial roads, and the La Madre plan by the city is a step forward as well. And also look into building construction. We have adobe houses more than 500 years ago. They do reduce the urban heat island effect. Arizona, New Mexico, before the Spanish came here. Thank you so much.
And thank you for joining us. I know you may have had some additional remarks. Please do send those in and we'll make sure that they get uploaded. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, my name is Aaron Harris, and I'm a volunteer with the Sierra Club. I want to thank Chair Flores and the rest of the committee for your great questions today when it comes to our urban tree canopy. I think one of the main issues that we really need to take a look at is not just the planting of new trees, but also maintaining our heritage trees as well. Even just by my house, when they were doing some of the conversion from grass to xeriscaping, they removed about half a dozen 30-year-old trees. And as a result, you can see that ground surface temperatures in the area a quarter mile around where those trees were located have increased in temperature. And we need to look at not just the protection of our public trees, but also trees on private property as well. If I want to change an outlet in my house, or I want to put up a fence, or if I'm a business and want to dump chemicals into the sewer, I need to go to the city for a permit. And we really need to consider that our trees are a public resource, even if they're located on private property. And so it makes sense for trees of a certain size, of a certain age, to go through that same process to make sure that there are not impacts to the surrounding neighbors as well as the city as a whole. So I want to thank you again for your interest in this matter and really encourage us to not just invest in new trees, but also really protect the trees that have been keeping us cool for the last several decades. Thank you.
I wanted to talk about something that's kind of off topic, and I'd like to appreciate our legislatures that have introduced bills to limit the amount of home ownership that private equity, Wall Street, hedge funds can own in this state. It is one of the causes of the housing mess we have. I wish this bill was introduced more than 10 years ago. Although I want to make this clear, I don't think it is the main cause. Certainly the cost of land has an impact, permits have an impact, materials have an impact, but I believe the main cause in terms of trying to build and expand the supply of housing is labor, and that has to be addressed. Private equity has done a lot of damage in terms of monopolization and the financialization, all stemmed with Wall Street and the Federal Reserve regarding wages, job availability, quality of goods. in terms of service, prices, although I went to Smith's just now and the prices were pretty good on clearance. It has impacted our food supply. These few food chain companies, few companies produce most of the food supply to restaurants like Cisco. The list pretty much goes on. Heck, our main economic engine, the resorts, almost all of them are owned by private equity. This corporatization, in fact, is probably the main problem we have in this state in the last 3 decades. I wanted to address this at the Nevada Forum, the NGO that had a bipartisan effort to address the problems. Let me address one victim of private equity, Saks Fifth Avenue. They had a store here in Fashion Show since 1981. They bought up Neiman Marcus, inflated the debt, and now they're liquidating. And I don't believe e-commerce is the main reason why they're closing the store. It's going to leave a nasty scar on the Strip. Who knows when that location is going to be replaced? That along with jobs and a lot of other issues that's coming along. I think these regulations on private equity should go in every aspect. Think about it. The malls in Mexico and the Philippines are not struggling as much. So do what you can and please get these zombies out of our economy. Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. I'm confident that Senator Neal has been working on some of this work and possibly can work together on that. Thank you.